same street, but they're in totally different worlds.
Wouldn't you like to be popular?
Cindy's hot, Ronald's not.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Greg.
Time for a new episode of Latch-Key Dads.
Yeah, I think it might be time to do another one. I don't know.
I think
Seems
so.
like it's been a little while.
We got nothing else to do, so why not? Right? And on this episode, we're going to do a movie review. We haven't done one in a while.
Yeah. We give you a little sample there at the beginning. Maybe you can figure out what movie it is based on that, right?
That's right. Hopefully.
Yeah. Can't Buy Me Love.
That's it. A 1987 movie. Actually, it was released August 16th, 1987.
Yeah, which is again, this entire year, it seems like there's been so many anniversaries of movies that we loved when we were kids coming up to the 30-year anniversary. So here's another one just 2 weeks ago.
Crazy.
But scary at the same time that it's been 30 years.
Yeah. Really good movie.
Yeah.
It starred Patrick Dempsey as Ronald or Donald Miller, depending on who you ask. Amanda Peterson was Cindy Mancini.
Cindy Mancini, that's right.
We have Courtney Gaines as the best friend, redheaded Kenneth.
Yes.
Who is actually in both of our movie reviews.
I know, right? Straight out of the Burbs.
Straight out of the Burbs.
Yeah.
And then I think one of my favorite nuanced characters, Seth Green, is his younger brother, Chucky Miller.
Who kind of steals the movie.
It's great, right?
Yeah. I think probably some of the funniest scenes, though. I mean, his character is really funny. His lines are really good. But when Big John, with his with his farts twice
in the car,
hits him in the car, and then hits him when he's spying on the party at the window. So he gets a double dose of Big John's noxious gas. It's kind of fun.
So if you haven't seen this movie, first of all, go watch it.
Yeah.
Right. But a brief synopsis of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a simple premise, really, that Ronald, a.k.a. Donald, depending if Cindy knows his name and what part of the movie you're watching, is not popular and is looking for a way to kind of get out of his little group of friends that are kind of nerds and
kind of obsessed with popularity.
Yeah. He's been mowing Cindy's lawn for years and is infatuated with her and sees an opportunity when she damages her mother's suede outfit. $1,000 suede outfit. And makes a proposition to young Cindy. Would she be willing to rent her popularity to him for $1,000 in exchange of replacing the damaged suede outfit? And, love and mayhem follow suit after that.
Hilarity ensues. But it's really, I think it's a very typical 80s movie, right? Yeah. It's got the tropes of the jocks and the the nerds and all of that. And I think it fits in well with like the John Hughes type of 80s teen movies.
Yeah, definitely. And it was funny that it struck me in watching it again was that Patrick Dempsey's body type, the way he moves and everything, had a very Karate Kid sort of quality to it. Like, he takes his shirt off at one scene. He's like super skinny. He kind of like has almost like a waddly sort of run kind of thing, like Mr. LaRusso and the Karate Kid. So anyway, just a little tangent there. But like so many of the movies where they were these sort of love stories with like the popular kids and the kind of nerdy kids and the little elements of falling in love and then things not working out and all those same things that so many of these movies had. It had all of it. So.
Yeah, which kind of brings me to my new idea here, Tim. I brought over a bell. And as we discuss the movie, anytime we mention an 80s trope, feel free to ring the 80s trope bell. So see if it works out.
I think we've mentioned like 2 or 3 of them already. So
there you go. Wanted to make a popular movie in the 80s? Include this.
Definitely.
The movie was directed by Steve Rash, and it was PG-13. So it was got a few words, a few racy parts, but definitely tame by today's standards.
Yeah. Although it was interesting, I watched it with my daughter, and there are some elements of the kids, partying and drinking in high school, and elements of implied amorous activities. And so I had to keep turning to her and be like, this is not the way to act as a teenager. Don't do this. Don't do any of this.
Well, bringing that up right off the bat, one of the biggest, 80s tropes is this wild house party with no adult anywhere and booze pouring out of, every glass. I never went to a high school party like that, Tim. I don't know if you did.
No, No. I mean, I heard whispers of things like that happening, but not me.
No.
Yeah. And even to the point when there's the dance and he pulls out a little hotel-sized bottle of something,
Yeah.
and takes a little hit and then dumps the rest in the punch. Classic part of any 80s school dance party. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And one of the funny things is he watches what he thinks is after school 80s dance show.
Right, yeah.
Dance Party USA, right?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then it's he learns an African anteater dance and he gets everybody to do it at the dance. And one of the neat little facts about this movie is that whole dancing scene of the African anteater dance was choreographed by none other than Paula Abdul.
Really?
Yes.
It's perfect.
Just fits right into it, right?
Yeah.
Along with that, I want to add another 80s trope. Every single band is this most professional sounding band at every single dance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and I also love that the band, there was the guy who's playing the snare drum with like real intensity, which was like the Sheila E.
Yes.
The single snare just going to town on that one drum. So it's pretty funny.
That is pretty good.
The other thing I thought was really kind of funny was that there were multiple scenes where high school kids or early in college kids were driving cars that would not at all be possible for them to get. Like one kid's in a Ferrari,
Yeah.
and they talk about it being like a rental or something like that. I don't know anywhere in the country where a kid, an 18, 19-year-old kid could rent a Ferrari. And then Cindy's boyfriend later on, he's driving like a
White
911 Porsche.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Like, how's that happening?
Not happening.
Yeah.
No. One of the scenes that I thought was and it's a great movie, was at the end when the one jock goes up to Kenneth and he's verbally abusing him and about to physically abuse him, and Ronald comes in and grabs the baseball bat.
Yeah.
And he goes right up to him, and there's the two teachers. There's the elderly teacher and the younger teacher, and the elder teacher like she wants to go stop it, but the other teacher holds her back.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I want to see where this goes.
Yeah.
On what planet is that going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. We could stop something terrible from happening, but I don't have a cell phone yet because it's the 80s, but I want to get video of this.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Sort of like a Seinfeldian moment there where it's like, we're not going to get involved.
Right,
We'll just mock them. And
We're the teachers
Yeah.
and the people who are responsible, but we'll stand back.
Yeah.
So one of the things I really liked about the movie, I think it pretty much introduced the idea that you can go from ugly to hot by simply taking off your glasses and putting mousse in your hair.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
I think so, yeah. And also, in this particular makeover, removing your sleeves,
Yes.
which also must have been stitched on with the thinnest thread in the world, because Amanda Peterson tore those things off without much effort at all.
No problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which you see in so many movies, the idea that, she's, wearing a ponytail or whatever. In fact, there was a movie called Not Another Teen Movie.
Mm-hmm.
The movie itself is ridiculous and
Sure.
silly. But that's exactly what they make fun of. So the girl, she, takes off her glasses and undoes her ponytail, and all of a sudden, boom, she's hot.
Exactly. Yeah. Which reminds me of another movie from the same time frame with one of the actresses that's in this movie, Amy Dolenz, who plays one of the friends, and one of the cheerleaders. She's in a movie with Tony Danza, where she's the daughter. She's a little bit nerdy, the glasses, the hair up, and then gets a makeover, which again is removing the glasses, letting her hair down, and now she's out of control is the name of the movie. And yeah, she's super pretty, and everyone's going nuts for her. So.
Magically transformed.
Yeah, yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
So wait, there's a trope.
Yes.
And then my last trope, 80s trope, is the slow clap. Right, which has appeared in plenty of movies beforehand, but I think they really nail the slow clap in this one after Ronald's speech, saving Kenneth from Ricky.
Yeah.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah, and I think it's Big John, right? Isn't he the one who starts the slow clap?
It is Big John. Good memory.
Yeah. And I think the one line from the movie that really sticks out to me is that there's the scene where he takes her out and has his homemade telescope that looks like it's made out of a tube.
Oh yeah, they
cardboard
hopped
or something.
the fence into the airline
graveyard.
Yeah, airplane graveyard.
And so she's looking at the moon, and he's regaling all of his knowledge of as she says astrology, but he says astronomy.
Yeah.
But he mentions the fact that he believes that when he's his father's age, we will all be living and working on the moon. And here we are,
His
being his father's
Yeah,
age.
yeah.
And I haven't gotten my invitation to go work or live on the moon just yet. So not quite there.
No, close.
Yeah.
SpaceX. You want to hear some facts about the movie?
Sure,
I
let's
don't
go
know if
for
you're
it.
interested. This was almost basically a independent movie. It was originally a TriStar product. They dropped it, Touchstone, and then it got made, and then it got bought by Disney, or the Disney armed Touchstone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the first outside acquisitions in the history of Walt Disney Company.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was bought after it was already made, and it was kind of cool to see that, because it doesn't feel like it's an unprofessional or low budget movie or anything of that nature.
It was cool to watch it again and hear the Touchstone, like the sounder that went along with that little opening part of the movie, because it just threw me back again, because so many movies I remember had the Touchstone part to it, and I guess that's since fallen by the wayside or just gotten absorbed into one of the other entities. But it was kind of cool to hear the Touchstone sound.
It was. So Touchstone was made because Disney wanted to go above PG, but they didn't want to put the Disney name on it. They paid Michael Jackson $100,000 to use the song.
Really?
Yeah, because at that time it was owned by, I guess, his holding company or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So,
which for a smaller, I guess, independently made movie, seems like a lot of money to drop just for one song.
It does, right? And the title was originally Boy Rents Girl.
Yeah, I don't think that would fly very well. Yeah, and I did see a review. I think it was Roger Ebert. I think it was him who had said something like in the first sentence of his review of the movie. He was talking about how the movie has a prostitution element to it, and probably not the angle that Touchstone was going for.
Yeah. One more very interesting fact is Gerardo Mejia was in this movie, who you may know as the singer of the song Rico Suave.
That's right.
Rico Suave.
Yeah.
But that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I think his character's name was Ricky.
Yeah.
When I was watching it, like his name gets mentioned very few times.
He was kind of in it quite a bit. I thought. Yeah.
But the scene where I think they actually say his name is when they're going to do the mischief night, when they're going to throw the poo.
Yeah.
And they're like, Ricky.
He was the wine connoisseur guy.
Of course.
So overall, what did you think of the movie?
I think we had talked about this before, that it was one of those movies that it just seemed to be playing a lot, when we were teenagers. And so I know I watched it probably, 20 sometimes or something like that. And I think there was just something about the idea that, if you weren't the coolest kid in town, the idea that like someone who's not the most popular kid being able to somehow befriend and then eventually sort of date the prettiest girl in school, I think there was something appealing to that for a large portion of people. It was fun. It was entertaining.
And I think it a lot of 80s movies don't age very well. Yeah. And I actually enjoyed it. I didn't think it was, other than some of the silly elements of the party and things of that, it was pretty relatable. I didn't think it was that outlandish that you're like, oh, this is so dated.
And I mean, even like the styles of things, it just, I think so much of what we're doing with the podcast is sort of enjoying the memories of that time frame. Yeah. It touched on so many of those things, even with the clothes that they were wearing and the type of cars. Like even the fact that the coolest girl in school is driving a VW Cabriolet. Yeah. It was like, yep, that pretty much is late 80s. That's the car. So yeah, there was just a lot of fun things that took us back to that time. So. Yeah.
And I think that the most emotional part of the movie, Patrick Dempsey does great being, remorseful for what he did. But like the scene that I think stole the show, which was actually almost cut, was when he tries to apologize to Kenneth in the arcade. Yeah. And he grabs him and he throws him. He's like, "You bleeped on my house." Yeah. And it's like, it was really, a pretty good scene for the movie, considering it's like a teen movie.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, just from a personal level, did you ever have any situation like that where you had sort of, you had a group of friends and then you met some new friends and sort of there was this sort of awkward sort of time frame where you're kind of separating yourself from those friends and stuff? I mean, for me as well, I had, moments like that where, whether I was dating a girl and like some of my friends were like, where are you, kind of thing. Yeah. So there was a lot of relatable stuff that was there. Yeah.
So definitely, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
For me.
Likewise.
All right.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Tim.
So as we're recording, we're coming up on sort of that end of summer,
Yeah.
the holiday that sort of wraps up summer, Labor Day.
Labor Day. Say goodbye to fun, relaxing weeks and hello to the grind of your school day and work.
Yeah, that's right. But as we head into that weekend, I think it sort of, there's like a rejuvenation and excitement and generally picnics and gatherings of some sort or something.
Absolutely.
Like that.
Yeah.
So I was thinking back to what it was like when I was much, much younger, when I was a kid, as opposed to, where we are today with all the responsibilities of being an adult. And, for me growing up, those picnics were always, throughout the summer, whether it be, Memorial Day starting the summer, July 4th in the middle, or Labor Day at the end, they all sort of had a very similar feel to them.
They do, yeah.
All the cousins, aunts and uncles getting together. And always sort of having a little bit of that bittersweet quality to it, where this is kind of, in a way, the last time we would see all them until maybe around Christmas we'd see them again. But, we'd do a lot of the standard things, hot dogs and hamburgers and, chips and salads. But the thing that always stuck out to me is that my family would always get kegs.
Nice.
But not beer. It was kegs of birch beer or root beer. And as a kid, we'd just be sitting there just filling cups. And
Did you even put the cup? You just put the spout right into your mouth?
Occasionally when no one was looking. And then the other thing that really sticks out is that my family would always make homemade ice cream.
Wow.
So we'd have these, it was like turn of the century, ice cream crank.
Nice.
And my uncles and my dad, it just seemed like for hours they would just be throwing ice on top of it, throwing rock salt on top of the ice, and just cranking on this thing. And then we'd have this delicious homemade ice cream.
Oh, that's so
which
cool.
was a lot of fun. Yeah.
What kind of flavors would you guys do?
I feel like in 4th of July, because that'd be like the peak of raspberry picking, we'd always have like some raspberries that, would get thrown in, make raspberry ice cream. But most of the times I feel like it was just vanilla. I think just because there were so many people that would be there, that was sort of like the flavor everybody would be fine with. So a lot of times it was just vanilla. But that was always really, really good. And then, there's sort of that vibe of like making food that is patriotic. So I always remember these, they'd be usually like a flat, vanilla cake.
Yes.
White icing, and then the strawberries and blueberries, which I have to give, my mom credit. Like they would always be so, like you see these videos now of like Nailed It, where someone just can't replicate the Pinterest version of stuff. But my mom, she was really, really talented in, creating these beautiful flags and stuff like that on the cake. So that was always really fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you guys like throw water balloons or play baseball, volleyball, do any kind of like things like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think basketball was definitely big when I was a little bit younger. And then croquet. We'd always play croquet.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when I was more like in my early teens, we started playing volleyball quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How about you guys? Do you do anything?
We did the basic stuff: hamburgers, hot dogs, grilled. Went to my aunt's house. I didn't have very many cousins. I think like you did. Honestly, I had two, at least that lived in the general area. I had cousins from New York and things in like Western Pennsylvania, but just in the local vicinity, just a couple of us. So we didn't really do anything that super exciting when I was young. Not that it was, it was cake. It was burgers and dogs. Pretty traditional type of thing.
Yeah.
We did have volleyball net. We would put up the volleyball net, so that was fun.
Yeah. I do remember one summer where I think my brother and I were like, I don't know, I think we thought we were going to be professional. We'd been watching the beach volleyball on ESPN and stuff. And I think, was it Randy Stoklos and St. John Smith, I think were the two top, sand volleyball players. But anyway, we got some PVC pipe and we recessed like pipes into our lawn with concrete. And then my dad had these old pipes, and we, put these pipes in the ground, got like a professional net, bought like a really expensive volleyball, and then, we played quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have friends come over and stuff. But then at the family picnics, we'd also try to get everybody to play a little volleyball.
Sure, yeah. I think that we would eventually, whenever we had it at my house, because I had so few cousins, and they were older and they're females, like I would just go to a friend's house. Right, and we'd play stickball over there with their part. You know what I mean? Just walk. Living in a lovely suburban neighborhood, you could do that. You could be like, "Oh, my party stinks. I'm gonna go see what the Johnsons are doing down there and go get another hot dog." Which was always fun.
Yeah, which is a little bit different from me because we were sort of out in the country a little bit more. So
Right.
there just weren't as many options.
You
so,
couldn't do that. Yeah.
But we did have a pretty big family and pretty big group of people who would come in and hang out. So that was always a good time.
Yeah.
And one of the other memories that always sticks out to me is that my grandfather, he would always have like a pack of firecrackers, we call them salutes, in his pocket. And he would like go behind like a tree or a bush. He'd, light a couple up and throw them, and then just come walking out from back there laughing before they even started popping. It was just funny because he got such a kick out of it. No one else could be there, and he still would have been enjoying, just laughing and lighting them off. So that's always fun.
That's funny.
Yeah.
As I got older, in my early 20s, this time of year, we would always do our fantasy football drafts on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And I was really into fantasy football for a long time, and I was quite good, I might add. And so I would get so excited for Labor Day weekend just because I was in 2 leagues, and Saturday, Sunday, back-to-back drafts. Mm-hmm. And that was just, it's that time. It's fantasy football time, to get excited again about it. But that was all my 20s and half of my 30s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and we started playing just in the last couple of years. My family just has a little league that we play, and we've sort of created that tradition that Labor Day is when we'll do our draft. But it's funny because my brother and I and my now brother-in-law, we're pretty into actually doing a draft.
Yeah,
where pretty much everybody else is just lets it auto draft. And so last year, my brother was trying to draft for my dad and for himself. And the computer was like locking him out of one account from the other account, and it ended up that he had auto drafted the first couple players for him. He was so disappointed. So hopefully this year we'll have multiple devices. He can be
exactly.
He can be GM for multiple teams and be able to draft. So
no conflict of interest there.
Yeah,
right?
Not at all.
Speaking of fantasy sports, how's your baseball team doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm holding my own. I'm very much middle of the road, but I'd have to say I think I gained a few positions recently, but I think I'm running in third. But I'm a solid 19 games back of the leader of my division. Now, I think you're doing a little bit better. If I'm
doing okay. Yeah, I happen to be. I overcame the guy in first. I think I'm in first right now.
Yeah.
But this week's not looking so good, so I might slip back to second. So.
Yeah. I was feeling pretty good. I had 2 weeks there where my team was kind of making a bit of a recovery. And then I checked this morning, and I think we're going to have another down week unless something dramatically changes. So.
The baseball is cyclical.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I'm enjoying my team. The Phillies have definitely been on a pretty good tear over the last couple of weeks. So
yeah.
I know the Mets.
The mess.
Your Mets have not been doing so well.
They're unwatchable.
My condolences.
Yeah. It's sad because, I love baseball so much, and just to have the end of your summer just end on it's not even, the Mets season is over.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Football starts in another week.
There we go.
So as we put this out there, going into Labor Day weekend, we hope that in between listening to the top 100 songs of Labor Day, you'll enjoy a little bit of Latch-Key Dads as well.
That's right. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Greg.
So, we are Latch-Key Dads here at Latch-Key Dads. And so I had a pretty big life affirming moment this past couple of weeks, which I know you're aware of.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but I dropped my twins off at college. Yeah.
That's a big dad moment right there.
It was really surreal, to say the least. Now, they didn't go to the same university, so I dropped one off. I'll say it. My one son went to Penn State University 2 weeks ago, and that was very, very surreal because it was the first one, right? Mm-hmm. So you're there, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I remember being a kid and this happening, and then a week later, my other son's going to Lehigh University, which, because of the proximity, if I need to, I can go meet him up, 15 minutes, but emotional, man. I didn't think I was going to get emotional, and it was quite a surreal, unbelievable experience that you're dropping your kid off at college. And you remember back to when you were dropped off at college. And I know that you didn't go away your first year, but you did your second year. Was there any sort of emotional moment there with your parents, or because was kind of close proximity, not so much.
I mean, I think in a similar way to, your son being within 15 minutes, I was in a similar situation where I wasn't going that far away.
Yeah.
But the idea that like this was the first like long period of time where you're going to be living away from home, not just like a week at camp or, something like that. I think the first, like the drop off was very exciting.
Yeah.
But then the reality of it after a couple of days of like, there's some lonely days there, especially for me, because I was coming in, I sort of missed the freshman, like everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's kind of making new friends, all that kind of stuff. So there's some lonely days there, but yeah, then there's the excitement of like, oh my gosh, like I'm out on my own. This is amazing,
Yeah.
Which I think, as a parent now, seeing it from that other side, it's weird. Like there's been so many of those little moments that have been happening over the last few years where the reality of that, it comes into focus so much more suddenly, I think, than maybe you're even prepared for.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I can see, I was a pretty emotional kid. Like I was never one to be like, super stoic,
Okay. Yeah.
But now even like watching commercials sometimes or a movie that I've seen all the time, like, oh my God, it's so sad. So yeah, I'll probably be a mess.
Yeah. So for all you dads out there, with your young kids, just go throw the ball around with your son. Go watch a TV show, even if it's not SpongeBob, but like those horrible, irritating kid shows. Savor every moment, because before you know it, you turn around and you're like, oh my gosh, like they're adults and they're on their own, and time stops for no one. So.
Yeah, I look forward to those days, but also I'm holding on to the time that I have before they go off to college.
Absolutely.
And
my poor youngest, because he's about to be like smothered to death.
Only child all of a sudden.
Oh man, poor guy. Can't get enough Latch-Key Dad content? Well, check out LatchKeyDads.com.
That's right, Greg. On our website, we've got a plethora of photos from each episode, as well as other interesting links to content that we talk about on the show.
Yeah, Tim, I really enjoy all the pictures that you put up there, as they really bring the episode home.
Yeah, I guess I'm not afraid to show those embarrassing photos of my childhood. So, we encourage you to check out the website, LatchKeyDads.com, for all that content.
Excellent. And if you have a moment, check out our shop page, where we've got really cool keychains for sale. If you don't know what to get your dad for Christmas, the holidays, Father's Day, birthday, check it out. It's a cool gift. Tim, did you know that listeners should like, review, and subscribe to the Latch-Key Dads podcast?
No. But now I know.
Knowing
is half the battle.